Hi there everyone, and welcome to my video walkthrough of my remake of C2A5F, which was a chapter cut from Surface Tension in Black Mesa from the original Half-Life. I feel that the omission of this chapter severely harmed the impact that both Surface Tension and Forget About Freeman had in terms of the military pulling out, because over the course of this level you saw the military getting pulverized by the aliens, and I feel that the removal of that really harmed the overall finished product. So I took the initiative to make it myself from scratch, and I'm trying to give it the Black Mesa treatment, which is to stay true to the spirit of the original and its design, whilst also improving on areas it was weaker and creating somewhat of my own vision. Bear in mind this is still very much a work in progress, it's rather unfinished, especially in terms of the AI and the scripted sequences. Otherwise it's, for the most part, I would consider it complete. You know, there's a few minor things to do here and there, but it's on its way, definitely, towards a release. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and without further ado. So right off the bat we have the area that already existed in the Black Mesa version of this level. They simply cut off the parts that come after this turret scene and merged them with the vent drop and Gargantua chase. I've extended the areas in between to how they were in the original Half-Life. So this turret scene remains largely the same as the original, except the turret is far less accurate in Black Mesa, making the scene a little bit more frustrating. But unfortunately there's not much I can do about that. This version of the game is using my configured custom skill.cfg, and I'm also using God mode just because me dying repeatedly because I'm not very good wouldn't be an interesting video. So that's pretty much how it was in the original, far more interesting looking. I think the Black Mesa team did a really good job of making the map look better. So now we have, in the original Black Mesa version, you go through that door and into the vent with the Gargantua, but here you go into the garage, or my version of the garage. So you open the door and there's a massive fight going on between the aliens and the HECU. Now, originally when I designed this scene, the aliens and the humans were both far more inclined to attack you the moment you open the door, because they seem to have mad desires towards killing Gordon Freeman. But I've managed to change it so that they do generally fight each other without being distracted by you upon instantly seeing you. They sometimes tend to ignore you a little bit, but it's not that big a deal. So as you could probably see from the comparison, my version of this area is far, far differing from the original. It's probably the most changed area in terms of both design and aesthetic. I've made it into a very dark, destroyed car park, whereas in the original it was just a generic open building. I hope you think it's better. I certainly do. It fits the theme of the chapter a bit better. So here you use a jump pad to climb up to the second level, kind of like you did in the original, but I've added a third level and some other access areas. So there's a little sneak preview of what you're going to be heading into once you manage to get outside. So here's the emergency stairwell. Nothing particularly fantastic about it, it's just a little side area to explore. And here we have perhaps the most surprising zombie ambush you've ever seen. And there's me having an incredible aim with the shotgun. So I think I did a pretty good job of portraying a destroyed, abandoned car park. Whereas in the original, I don't think it really fit any sort of theme. As you can see, it's just a generic destroyed area. I kept it fairly dark compared to the original, which is probably quite a big change, but then it's probably the darkest part of Surface Tension. So now you head up to a hole in the wall where you again observe another fight between the HECU and the aliens, like you did in the original. These fights between the HECU and the aliens are sort of semi-scripted. They're scripted to appear and fight one another, but the outcome of the fight and what they do during the fight is not scripted. The aliens generally win. I've seen the Marines win a few times, but normally the aliens win. Which is how it should be, really, because the military decide to pull out after this, because they're being whipped by the aliens. My satchel just rolls off the edge there. So in my version of the game with the skill.cfg, the alien grunts are much tougher. 250 as opposed to, I think, 90 health in Black Mesa by default. So I decided to have the road running around the map once you get outside, whereas in the original you were just travelling between courtyards randomly. I thought it gave the level a better sense of structure and direction that the original was lacking somewhat. The vent scene here is changed in layout from the original, but spirit is pretty much the same. And it's your introduction to snarks as they come firing out the vent at you here. So this scene is pretty much the same as it was in Black Mesa. I just moved it over to this area where it was in the original. Whereas before they'd merged it with the Garg chase. So now we have the vent drop scene into the garage, which in the original was fairly dank and small. I've made it fairly dank and big. The music is just a leftover remnant from the Garg chase. I'll probably remove it and have it when the Garg chase actually happens, which I'm going to move to the end of this level. I tried to make the garage quite detailed without cluttering it up because it would make moving around it and fighting frustrating. Obviously I'm having an easy time over here because I have God mode. So like the original, it's fairly dark and miserable, nothing too cheerful about it. All of the car lifts work. Press them to your heart's content if you like. So here we have the, what I like to call the ambush, which in the original was them throwing some grenades at you behind some boxes. I think that works pretty well personally, but it's a little unfinished. The roof doesn't collapse and no rubble appears yet, so I've just made a fire for now. Now you use the car lift to climb out the window and attack them. In the original this was a very generic, you know, just standard courtyard. I don't think it really served much of a purpose, and it certainly didn't fit in with the high quality of the rest of the game, I don't think. But story-wise, I think this chapter's important because you start to see the HECU get whipped by the aliens, so I tried to include it and fix on many of the problems that I thought the original had. Hope you agree with me. So I did a lot of work on this outdoor area. It took a long time to get it into this position where nothing's too blocky. The vistas are fairly convincing. I kept it in line with the way surface tension was on this map. You can't see it from here, but in the distance there is a runway, and I'm intending to see a Harrier take off later on in the map. I haven't quite programmed it properly yet. I'm just laying ambush because once you destroy this door, you get flooded by alien grunts. And you don't want to be surprised by them because they can survive a lot of toe shots on my settings. So this is the same as the original. You use the toe to destroy the door. The door being destroyed doesn't look terribly fantastic at the moment. But hopefully I can get it to spawn lots of metal debris flying around. Yeah, so if I didn't have God mode there, I would have died about 30 times. So, fairly significant change now from the original. The original had you moving into a warehouse that existed for pretty much no reason other than to house a fight. I've got it an outdoor area, a continuation of the road, so you still have a sense of direction. You're following the road. So this is the warehouse I was talking about, where you observe a massive fight between the HECU and the aliens. And I've changed it for a scripted sequence here. You see the HECU running away, getting marmalized by the aliens as they try and escape to their Osprey. And then, overhead comes a damaged Harrier, followed by a Manta. Well, alright. It took me a very, very long time to get that scene to where it is, but I think it's pretty decent. The Manta could use a couple of charge-up beams or something, but it's pretty solid, I think. So this fight, again, generally the aliens seem to win that. I don't know quite how, but the alien grunts have managed to destroy the LAV on quite a few occasions that I played this. And as you can see, the LAV's handling is a little bit screwy. He moves up and down along that road for no reason. So part of my reasoning for changing this into a large outdoor area or slash helipad was mostly because I think in the original the warehouse theme was quite heavily done, and it wasn't interesting, it didn't stand out compared to anything else. So I'm hoping that this is something a little bit different. As you can see, the AI's navigation and combat skills aren't quite up to par yet, but I'm working on it. So here you have the, again, 3D skybox, which is... The fog is a little bit messed up in the distance at the moment, but I'm working on it. And here's just a little background detail. You can see an aircraft hangar, and a couple in the background as well. So this is where my finished product pretty much ends. This is where I'm going to transition into the next level, which is the second half of C2A5F from Half-Life 1. So the next map starts where the alien grunt throws the marine through the wall, and it finishes at the end of the Gargantua chase, leading into Forget About Freeman, like the original did. I'm hoping to get into a position where this can flow seamlessly with the existing game on any install, so if you want to, you have the option to play with my chapters included. So that's it for now. That's all I've got so far in terms of a finished-ish product. I've started work on the next section. I'm hoping to have that completed sometime soon, and I'm working towards an alpha release for testers. Thank you for watching.